Lave radio? It's even louder than me. Hey, wait a minute. That can't be right.
One of the oldest colonies of the sector, colonial deep space cruisers scheduled an overrun reached the system designated L453 in 2412. The star system was at that time unique.
Lave was most famous for its vast rainforests and the Lavian tree growth. Much of the rainforest has now been cut down, and the famous shrub is now extinct.
Previously on the Dex Legacy. While Nathaniel Dex and Dr. Osa Srivastava were launching their experimental bomb from Xenos, an event that would become known as the Rhone Missile Disaster, Varian, Isra and Ren were battling enemies of the Oscilian government in the Dominos Mountains. Designed by Dr. Devek Jha to be highly effective soldiers, the three were making light work of their enemy, until the enemy decided to target them. The rebels created nets with an electrical current and managed to catch Isra, paralyzing her and disabling the Dex Industries tracking chip lodged in her spine. A hunt began, and Ren followed the rebels back to their mountain hideout. He arrived in time to save her life, but too late to save her from harm. However, with no lasting physical damage done, Isra was fitted with a new tracking chip and sent straight back into action. Legacy, Episode 3, The Firm, starring Chris Gregory, Warren Graham, Annika Cordes, Louis Watson, Kamara Elliott, Kelsey Griffin, Charlie Richards, and me, Emily Inkpen.
Auto, what's the latest?
Breaking news from Zart, capital city of Xenos. The famously nationalistic administration led by Minister Agwe has fallen. After 15 years of unrivaled popularity, his party suffered a sharp decline in support after what is now being called the Rhone Missile Disaster. The newly appointed Premier, Minister Rosette, has promised to lead Xenos into a new age of accountability. In her first act, she called upon the International Confederation of World Leaders to hold self-proclaimed president of the disputed Dex Island state, Nathaniel Dex, to account for his part in the Rhone Missile Disaster. It is as yet unclear whether the International Confederation will intervene in this matter.
Auto, stop.
Ren, Isra, sorry I'm late. Our father called.
He's not our father, Varian.
He's our adopted father, Isra.
What did he want?
Timings. I said I'd catch up with you two and get back to him with an estimate. Ren, I take it you've got a battle plan?
I do. Here's the map.
Activating map.
And you think that's where our remaining Dominos rebels will be?
Pax did some recon last night. We know that's where they are.
Now, We need to get them out of the caves and into this area so we can surround them and force a surrender. We've already taken and closed off any of the caves they could use to escape, and they know we're coming. Hopefully, this won't take long.
They can take as long as they like.
I can take the center ground, Ren. You and Isra go in through these tunnels to cut off any escape, and herd them to me.
No, Varian, you're taking the tunnels. Me and Isra will be out in the open, out front.
Are you sure?
Yes, go in through here and here.
I'll place Pax up top. She can pick off any who chance to climb and press down through the tunnels from above.
And will be waiting for them in the field.
I can't wait.
Good, I will.
I'll go and talk to Pax.
She's going to destroy them.
Yup.
You killed the ones who took her prisoner, Ren. She doesn't have to.
So?
So you think it's okay if she goes out and kills all the remains of the Dominosi people?
I hope she does.
Seriously?
Yes, Varian, seriously. I hope she kills as many as it takes for her to be okay again.
And how many will that be?
I don't know, and I don't care.
They are people, Ren. They are people with families,
and every one of them would do it again if they could, and you know it. They took me first. They were going to kill me, Varian. They'd have killed her too, eventually. She deserves to make them pay, and they deserve what's coming to them.
You're losing sight of what's important, of what we are.
And what's that?
We are the ones who've been doing most of the killing in this conflict, not them. They were trying to get back at us.
Are you saying she deserved it?
No, of course not.
We're still people, Varian. We count as people too.
I know that.
And you can't talk. You killed 20 of them when they tried to take you 2 days ago.
So?
You did that because you knew what happened to me and to Isra, and you were afraid.
I wasn't afraid.
We're all fighters, Varian. We all know what it takes to get out of a situation like that. It's a strength that comes from our fight or flight instincts, and it's triggered by fear. You were afraid because you knew that what was done to Isra and what was done to me was going to happen to you. They won't stop just because we killed the ones who took us. They'll try harder. So we end it. And I hope she kills them all.
She's barely spoken to me since it happened. How's she been?
How do you think?
I don't know, Ren. But I'm guessing not good.
It's been bad. But we're getting through it.
We?
Yes, Varian, we. A lot hinges on this battle and getting out of these damn mountains. It's no good telling her she's safe when we're only one rebel raid away from being right back in those caves all over again. I need to give her every chance to fight and kill her way through this. It's what she needs. I think, I don't know, I'm making it up as I go, but that's why I need you to go in those tunnels. Ever since I was captured, I keep getting flashbacks. They happen every time I go underground.
You kept that quiet?
Yeah, well, they only last a second, but they're distracting and can make a difference in a fight. Thing is, if I get them, Isra, well, she's bound to as well now. So, I want to keep her out in the open, where she can wreak as much havoc as she likes without the risk of triggering any kind of breakdown. But I can't trust myself to be clear-headed at the moment either, and we have to end this today. Given all that, I thought you'd be the strongest to send in there.
It's all right, Ren. I've got this. We've got this.
Thanks.
You're really looking after her.
As much as I can. Yes.
I get it. I think I'm starting to at least.
Incoming call. Osgilian Chancellery. Osgil.
Good afternoon, Chancellor. Yes, I've just received confirmation from Varian. The Dominosi have surrendered. There was a little bloodshed at the end. They needed persuading, but it was nothing more than our ground troops could handle. The Dex Island forces will leave Oscillian territory as soon as yours are in place to handle terms between Oscil and the Dominosi people. No, they're not rebels anymore. Quite. Is there anything more Dex Industries can do for you? I see. I think we can help with that, yes. I'll send a representative to your chancellery with a few prototypes. No, thank you, Chancellor.
Call terminated.
Am I understanding correctly, Nathaniel? Do the Oscillian Chancellors want more from us?
Yes, Tristan. It appears they're satisfied with how this conflict has been resolved, and now they want to look into our automatic defence systems.
Well, that's our main line of business, so no difficulty there. And Varian, Isra and Ren will be coming home.
Yes, they'll be here. Although I'm expecting to deploy them again within a few months. North Jakra has voiced interest.
That is interesting. Were you going to do anything to mark their return?
No. Why would I?
It's a significant homecoming.
Explain.
This was their first deployment, and they did well, leading troops and representing the company's interests abroad. Is it your intention to make them commanders in our military?
You know it is, Tristan. And so do they. This was their first field test.
And they passed?
Yes.
So, Nathaniel, this is an opportunity for us to make their place in Dex Industries and the Dex military clear.
There's no point. Their place is clear, as long as they behave.
Yes, but do they know that?
Tristan, as my adopted children, it goes without saying.
Not necessarily. I believe it would be wise to mark the occasion, make them feel recognised and appreciated, put on a show and help them to understand their responsibilities going forward.
You think they need reminding of their responsibilities?
Nathaniel, I manage the greatest spy network this world has ever been unaware of. My operatives are active throughout the world, and if I've learned anything, it's that one must take every possible opportunity to remind people of their responsibilities. They need to be made aware that they're not the only Dex subjects, but Dex leaders, who may end up shaping the future of our company. This event could be used to separate them further from the other soldiers of their generation, the ones you didn't adopt, but kept as an extended part of Devik's work.
Those children mean nothing to me, Tristan. There were 21. I chose 3. The rest are spares.
Yes, but so far Varian, Isra and Ren have been more like distant siblings to the others of their generation. Now we need them to take command of the rest. We have 10 surviving spares, as you call them. I understand Devik's been working on them.
Devik's been giving them watered-down treatments developed off the back of his experiments with Varian, Isra and Ren. These 10 spares could be useful, but they're weak by comparison.
True, but stronger than any other soldiers in the world.
You foresee a time when the Dex military offering will be large enough to require tiers of leadership. Generals and colonels and so on, as our ancestors called them.
I do.
Well, that would please Devek. And it's true, Varian, Isra and Ren's success in the mountains has already sparked interest. And the more they achieve, the higher the demand for ground troops will be. We'll need to satisfy that demand somehow.
But Varian, Isra and Ren must lead.
Fine, Tristan. Go ahead and organise an event. Invite some media. We're going to the effort, we might as well make the most of it. Hi, I'm Chris Gregory, producer of The Dex Legacy, a proud member of Apollo Plus. Join to listen ad-free by downloading the Apollo Podcasts app or visiting apollopodcasts.com.
Now approaching Dex Island. Estimated arrival time, 5 minutes.
Almost home. Isra?
Yes, Varian, almost home. And the first opportunity we get, I'm going to the beach.
Seriously? You're not done with sand?
It's the sea I want. The ocean. I want water. Lots of water. I need to wash the desert off me.
The beach it is then. You'll have to go without me though. I have a date tonight.
Who's the latest?
No idea yet, but I left a couple behind and I'm sure one of them will be up for welcoming me back.
You're despicable.
I'm not sorry. Ren, are you alright?
Yes, sorry, Varian. Just happy to be home. Then I never thought I'd feel that way. Wait, what's going on?
What is it?
The whole military base is formed up in front of the palace. All the soldiers and everyone.
Initiating landing protocols.
Why are we landing here on the lawns in front of everybody?
Okay, quick. You two, do up your jackets, sort out your hair.
What is all this?
No idea. But I think we should look as presentable as we can.
Thank the gods they sent clean uniforms in the transport.
I'm guessing that wasn't an accident.
Touchdown. You have arrived at the primary residence of Nathaniel Dex, founder of Dex Industries and president of Dex Island. Welcome home, Varian Dex, Isra Dex, and Ren Dex.
How thoughtful. A personalised message.
How thoughtful.
I thought we'd just get tipped out of the base, come back to our rooms here and eat, crash in front of a broadcast drama for a few hours.
Well, Varian, it seems like we're not going to be doing that for a while.
I don't like this.
Neither do I, Isra, but...
Door opening. Smile, there are reporters waiting.
Well, this just keeps getting better.
You two, shut up.
I am not smiling, Varian.
I don't care. Let's just get back to the palace and work out what's going on.
Look, Nathaniel's waiting for us.
We're going to look straight ahead and walk. We're going to look like we are expecting this.
Varian, how do you sound so confident?
I stopped thinking and start doing.
Well, that explains so much.
Shut up, Ren. Here we go.
I think we should stop at the bottom of the steps and wait.
Okay.
Welcome home, Varian, Isra and Ren, from the Oscillian region of Domon, where you successfully served your country on foreign ground for the first time. During your deployment, you faced new threats and challenges and overcame the odds by emerging victorious from deep within enemy territory. You are a product of which Dex Industries can be very proud. A living, breathing embodiment of our values, our technology, and a shining example of just how extraordinary our species can be when properly adapted and enhanced. Your achievement during these months reached far beyond your extraordinary physical capabilities. The demands of leadership can test the most resilient individual, and even under difficult circumstances, your dedication to one another, as well as your troops, gave Dex Island the tactical advantage in every battle. In war, we learn where our true priorities lie, and you have proven yours are exactly where they ought to be. I could not be more proud. In light of all you have achieved, I am naming you, Varian, Isra and Ren, commanders of the Dex army.
What?
I just wanted to eat and go to bed.
From now on, you will set the standard for all Dex soldiers to come. You will raise our troops, and you will lead them into war. You will be the driving force behind the most advanced military offering this world has ever seen. You left Dex Island as prototypes. You have returned as my greatest accomplishment. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my children.
logged. Standing by.
Do you think he meant any of that?
Which bit, Ren? Us being prototypes or us being his children? Or the bit about us making him proud?
D. All of the above.
Commencing scan.
He's good at making speeches, Ren. Don't you remember when he made the big public noise about our treatments being totally humane? He sounded convincing then too, didn't he?
The next round hurt so much I was screaming for a month. Yes, I remember.
And here we are again, right back in the lab.
Scan complete. Result logged. Standing by.
My beautiful children, you're home at last.
Hello, Osa.
Oh, Ren, you have grown again since you left, for sure. Look at you. And you have some new scars to add to your collection, I see. Very nice, too. Who won that competition?
Depends. Are we talking about the scars you can see, or the scars you can't?
Oh. Now, isn't that the question?
Varian won. Show her the one in your back, Varian. Turn around.
Well, I'd be surprised if you didn't win with that beauty. It cuts across your spine, though. Am I going to be designing replacement vertebra for you 3? You'll be made of metal at this rate.
Go ahead, Osa, why not? Nothing else about us is natural.
That's not true. Your internal organs, your hearts and your minds. Do not forget that. Your flesh and blood still, if you forget you can die, you will not live for long, Hello, Devik.
Scans complete and results logged.
All healthy, I hope.
Yes, you're all fit and well. Nathaniel tells me there's another mission on the horizon for you all. But he also tells me there's time for another round of treatments before you leave.
What? But we passed the test. We led the fight in Dominar. We were everything you designed us to be.
Isra, you've performed exquisitely. You always do. But research continues, and so do my improvements. There's more to be done in terms of stabilizing the changes that have been made, and...
You were right, Varian. We are still prototypes.
We're all prototypes, Ren. I test myself and test myself and improve all the time. I will never consider myself finished. And as far as I'm concerned, you 3 will never be finished either.
Ren!
How long do we have until the next treatments begin?
I would get started immediately. But your father wants you to settle into your new roles first. He's asked for 1 week. But really, you're soldiers and you've been leading the troops all this time anyway, so I can't see what's changed. But what do I know?
Devik, Nathaniel has made his intentions clear. Varian, Isra, Ren, you do as you're told, and so do we.
I don't want any more. I'm fine. I'm better than fine. We're all better than anyone else in the world.
For now, Ran, maybe. But things change. As long as I live, there's enhancements to be made. Now, don't give me the sad faces. You knew this would happen. You knew the treatments wouldn't stop. And I think you like being better than everyone else, really. A bit of discomfort here and there is worth it, isn't it? To be faster, stronger, to bleed less when you're hurt. When you were little, one of your treatments triggered ocular albinism and you were nearly blind for a year, remember? But now you all have those beautiful blue eyes. And with the mechanical irises and engineered retinas Osa designed for you, you can see further and clearer than anyone else. The sad times lead to happier times in the end. They always do. And this time will be no different. What do we say?
1 week.
Good boy, Varian. Yes, 1 week. All right, you can go. It's good to have you home.
okay. Hey, slow down a minute.
Why?
Because... Are you all right?
Why wouldn't I be all right?
Well, there's a fairly obvious reason, don't you think?
I told you, I'm fine.
I don't want to hurt you.
You couldn't if you tried.
Not that kind of hurt. And, for the record, I could, but not that kind of hurt. We've barely talked about it, and last time we did this, you ended up in a pretty bad way.
What is there to talk about? I killed 1,000 of them, so they took me. You killed them. So now it's over.
It's not, though, is it?
Well, not when you keep bringing it up.
Isra, we're not moving past it, if you're not even looking at it.
What do you want from me?
Everything. You know that.
Well, I can't, Ren. I can't give you everything right now. I have to keep something for myself. Or what's left? You want to take everything from me.
I want to share everything with you.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
I can't share everything. How can I? You'll never understand.
But I do. To a point. I was their prisoner for 2 days. You were strung up and tortured. I was tied to a chair and tortured.
It's different.
I know. But it's not so different.
I'm not looking at it because it doesn't make sense. They did that to me. And how did that happen? I killed more of them than anyone. I am the best out there, and it doesn't make sense. You know, I keep thinking about it. It happened, but I can't believe it happened. It replays in my head, and it's like it's not real. But I feel it. I know it's real. Everyone knows.
Who?
Everyone in the base knows what happened. I saw it in their eyes when we were in the camp at Domina. I see what they're thinking about. They think I'm weak.
Trust me, no one thinks you're weak.
Everyone thinks I'm weak. If a bunch of rebels could do that to me, why can't anyone try it? I know they're thinking it.
Isra, no one's thinking that.
How do you know? Have you asked them?
Of course I haven't.
I'll kill them if they try.
I'll kill them if they try.
You might not be there.
I'll always be there. Or try to be.
It's not your fault, Ren.
It is my fault. If I'd run faster, if I'd have got there...
You ran as fast as you could. You know it, I know it. Those nets... I should have found a way out myself. I hate that you had to rescue me. Do you know how sick that makes me feel?
You were paralysed. You couldn't even move. Sometimes we have to rely on each other.
Yeah, I suppose. Varian and me, we rescued you. How are your hands?
They hurt in the mornings. And at the end of the day for about an hour after training.
You never told me they still hurt.
Yes, well, you've had your own stuff going on.
You just killed the mood, making me talk about my stuff because I'm not talking about it enough. And now it turns out you've not been talking about your stuff either.
This isn't about me.
Yes, it is. It's about you wanting me to talk about my stuff. But I don't want to talk about it. I can't talk about it.
Well, I don't want to talk about my stuff either.
Can we just not talk about it then?
Sure.
Thank the gods.
You can talk about it though. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. We might have a few things to work out here.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Why are you bothering? Why not just find someone else? Someone less screwed up?
because we're both screwed up. And I'm not going anywhere.
Is this the new treatment, Devek?
No. Their next one has been ready for a year. This one is still in the early stages. What is it, Osa?
Why are you waiting a week before starting your treatments? What did Nathaniel say, exactly?
He said the children need to understand their new responsibilities before they're taken out of commission for any length of time. Nathaniel wants them to assert their new authority over their fellow soldiers. New responsibilities? They're experiments, first and foremost. They're my life's work. He adopted them for me.
I know this, Devek. But Nathaniel changes his mind when he likes. It sounds like you're getting an army to play with. You should be happy about that. At least.
I'm happy to have the army. I just don't want those three leading it.
What else would they do?
They would stay here, in the lab, where I can keep an eye on them. I would use them to perfect my treatments, then roll out universally adapted versions of those treatments to the rest. As specimens, those three are far too valuable to risk. They are priceless. Why are you asking?
Tristan has something on his mind, and a week is long enough for him to undermine your plans.
My plans have been undermined so often, I'm working in a sinkhole.
As for the children, you may consider them priceless, but Nathaniel attaches a price to everything. Your experiments are expensive, and he wants to see some return on his investment. They are your life's work, but your life's work belongs to him. You know what would happen to us if we no longer had his protection. We are his subjects. And we serve.
And we serve.
In episode 3 of The Dex Legacy, you heard Chris Gregory as Nathaniel Dex, Warren Graham as Tristan Crale, Annika Cordes as Dr. Osa Srivastava, Louis Watson as Dr. Devek Shah, Kamara Elliott as Varian Dex, Kelsey Griffin as Isra Dex, Charlie Richards as Ren Dex, and Emily Inkpen as Auto, with music by Dr. Alan Stroud. The Dex Legacy is written by me, Emily Inkpen, and produced by Alternative Stories. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. It really does help. If you would like to support The Dex Legacy, you can at ko-fi.com/The Dex Legacy audio drama.
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Sweet dreams, little ones. You rest up in your hangar bay, because in the morning, you'll wake up to smell fresh laser fire, because you're in a Federal Corvette. And there's one thing that a core dynamic ship does well, and that's kill ships. Big ships, small ships, rings of ships. We even have a go at booping asteroids. Enemy shields down! Enemy dead! There's no further targets, Commander! That's all you'll ever have to say in a Federal Corvette. Core dynamics! Let's not talk about skimmers.
Have you been missold PPI? Python Protection Insurance was missold if you didn't want it, ask for it, or need it.
I was missold Python Protection Insurance and I got a claim worth 3,000 credits.
At Cowell & McGrath, we are ready to pursue claims for pilots who were sold PPI, even though they didn't have an escape pod.
When my partner's ship was destroyed, the insurance became invalid. I settled out of court for enough credits to restart my narcotics and weapons shipping business.
Millions have been missold Python protection insurance they can never claim, simply because they don't have an escape pod. Why should you pay for not reading the small print?
My husband was missold PPI. As a result of our claim, we now own Jupiter.
Cowell and McGrath, turning your carelessness into profitable lawsuits.
Established in 3223 as a haulage company, Takara made the bold decision to recruit and train its own security forces. Over the years, a series of highly effective laser weaponry was also developed to support these security teams, and they garnered galactic critical acclaim. The TK Zenith, a burst-fire pistol that can strip shields in no time. The TK Eclipse, a rapid-fire carbine for close-up thermal destruction. And the TK Aphelion Assault Rifle, a powerful and precise weapon of total shield destruction. On the battlefield, you know what's needed. Takara.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
and the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
and the fantastic
Community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the current Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place?
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 442 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Fire, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, otherwise known as Colin Ford, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode are our SRV Banksty, that would be Commander Alec Turner.
Hello.
We have our staff liaison officer, Commander Psychic.
Hello.
Unfortunately, our head in health and safety has been caught up at work, so he's not able to join us today. But we've managed to rope in the legend that is the Chris Mark IV.
Hello.
Who's multitasking.
Definitely don't have a gun to his head or anything. Not me. Not
No.
me. No, sir.
Yeah,
No.
well, you got incriminating photos.
Always. I make sure that I have incriminating photos of all of you. Do you not know that?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and if you didn't, Photoshop does wonders, so you know. Anyway, blackmailing aside, if you wish, you can join us live. Chris, are you actually flying about at the moment as well? Or have you got enough on your plate?
I'm just standing in Lave Station. I'm in the bar at Lave at the moment. I might go out flying later on.
We see a Commander William Solo there in the bar, just chilling. Welcome. So you can join the Chris Mark IV at the Lave Station bar if you want. If you can't get to us in game, you can join our Twitch chat channel, which I can see a lot of people in the chat already. Hello, including the legend Kevin the Stabber. Just unbelievable names we've got here today. You can access that through laveradio.com/live, click on the live chat, or you can go straight to twitch.tv/laveradio. So, let's have a quick catch up with the team, see what they've been up to. Let us start with Commander Psychic.
I very nearly came very close to Googling what I did last week then, because I've genuinely got no idea. It was really sunny, wasn't it? We've had really nice weather. We've been out and about, getting some sun, going to some nice places, taking the puppy out for some nice trips out to like lovely gardens and tiring him out and those kind of things, making sure we stay in the shade where possible and giving him lots of water to drink. Other than that, what have I been doing in game? Not a lot. I have been playing lots of different space games. I have been obsessed with the new Starship Troopers game that has come out, which is absolutely just a joy. It's in early access at the moment. It has so much potential. It is a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. We talk certainly on Flight Assist, when we were interviewing lots of different commanders, we all talked about having that Starship Troopers moment when it came to the Thargoids. You can have it right now with the game Starship Troopers. It is so good. I highly recommend picking it up. It's an FPS. And other than that, I've just been like faffing about in space in Elite, which has been really fun as well. Just chilling out and flying around and thinking about what to do with the reactivation missions and like theory crafting a vulture for them. But that's been about it.
Theory crafting a vulture for the mission.
It's kind of it's turned into quite the thing. Like most people have been looking at a vulture for it because it's good as far as like getting landed. It's got the speed to get out, and it can be a little bit tanky as well, you know. So we're that's tended to be the go-to ship, but I haven't built it yet because I've been rehashing Dr. Bev, rehashing the Corvette as well. Both of the Maelstrom, Titan knocking ships. Yeah, and that's about it. I can't wait to tell you what I was up to last weekend next week though, because that's going to be really fun, and that's all I'm excited about right now.
Oh, I see.
Is this the thing you were teasing on your stream
No.
today?
I'm going to see Muse on Saturday night. I'm seeing Muse on Saturday night. I'm so fucking excited. I'm gonna actually cry throughout the whole like hour, 2 hours of this set. I will just cry from start to finish. And Saturday's not too far away.
Very jealous. Never seen them live, but I've heard they
Desperately
are bloody
want
good.
to. This is like it's been like a big tick or like a big bucket list kind of thing that I've wanted to do for ages, and nothing's lined up. And my mate messaged me a few months ago and said, I've got an opportunity to buy these tickets. Do you want one? You can pay me back whenever. And I went, yes, please. And he messaged me. It took him like 3 different separate attempts and 3 different ticket releases to do so. So I've got no idea where we're going to be sitting, but it'll be fine. Awesome. I can't wait.
That Muse is something that is a band that's actually passed me by. I hear a lot of good things about them, but I haven't actually sat down and listened to them. So maybe that's something to put on my bucket list.
Yes, it's definitely like, especially. I'm going to sound like such a little shit now, but especially some of like around Origin of Symmetry. That album is is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's right up there with like Black Horse and the Cherry Tree and by Katie Tunstall and things like that. I saw Katie Tunstall this year, and I'm seeing Muse this year as well. Very exciting times to be me. I'm like so happy. Music. Anyway, that's fine. That's what I was up to last week and this week.
Okay, moving on to Commander Turner.
Mm-hmm. What have I been up to? Actually, I had a long weekend. Took Friday off work to drove down to Wakehurst, which is like sort of the second half of Kew Gardens. I think it's where the National Seed Bank is. So it's a big garden that you can go to. And my wife, for Christmas, I got her a weaving course. So she did a weaving course at Wakehurst, which was bloody brilliant, actually. There was 12 of them, and they basically spent all day weaving a big garden ornament, like a sort of thing to grow plants up. It was massive. It was nearly miscalculated and nearly couldn't get it in the car when I went to pick her up. But so they had a fantastic day, and then we went back to Wakehurst the day afterwards to look around the garden. And while she was weaving, me and my son went to see Guardians 3, which was pretty good, actually, on the whole. Although there's a lot more torture and anguish and arguing than in the first 2. So but overall it was good. And then Sunday went to took my one of my nephews out to the Cheshire Brick Festival, which is like a travelling Lego festival. I think they do it at various sports halls. I'm not a massive Lego fan, but it was fascinating, actually. There was some incredible builds there. It's funny, I'm so used to seeing Elite Dangerous builds because of obviously my social circles, that as we're wandering around this place, I was thinking, why are there no Elite Dangerous builds here? And then I suddenly remembered that it's a bit niche. But there was lots of amazing Star Trek, Star Wars builds and stuff. Bloody hell, it's an expensive hobby though, isn't it?
Oh, good grief, yes. I mean,
Couldn't believe the price of even just a single tiny little figures, from Star Wars or something that I would imagine would cost like 50p, cost about £6 starting
Yeah,
price.
yeah.
oh yeah,
Wow.
it's things like the unique Han Solo you only got with the Millennium Falcon and things like that. They go for a massive amount of
Yeah,
money.
but even bog standard stuff that they've got loads of is, starting price of anything is a fiver.
Like there's that Rivendell set that's absolutely ridiculous. That's like nearly 200 quid, isn't it? Something like that. It's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, it sure is. It's fascinating, though. Good fun. And then in game, I have finally, I've done the Titan, finished it, completed it, mate.
Okay.
I've maxed out.
I assume you've got all of the Titan samples then, and please
Yeah,
go
I've
on
maxed
to
out.
edit it.
I've maxed out the 3 Titan materials.
Incredible.
So today I had to resort to doing stupid stuff to entertain myself because I just love the environment so much that I wanted to carry on going around this. So I've been testing Thargoid sensors today, stuffing those into various Titan openings to see if anything, I don't know, spirals open or lets me in. But no, I can confirm that Thargoid sensors do pretty much nothing at the Titan.
Yes.
Except to reveal how flipping big it is. I mean, I know we all knew that already. But if you drop a sensor into the big yellow maw and then switch the camera seat and then try and find it, holy balls, it's like a grain of sand inside that thing. It's ridiculous.
It is. It's a massive opening. I'm trying to avoid any biological phrases.
It's a gaping hole. It's a gaping hole.
Yeah.
Yes, the big yellow sphincter.
Thargoid fun hole, I think guard frequency would have us call it.
Incredible. Sad soup.
Yes. And we don't even have Ben here. Oh dear. Anyway, okay, we'll move on to the Chris Mark Fall.
Yeah, I've not been up to a lot over the last few weeks. It's been unseasonably warm in Scotland, or just unusually warm in Scotland. So I've been enjoying the outdoors and getting out and about and doing bits and pieces. I had a nice night in town on Saturday night. However, I got stuck. Psyche, you're going off to see Muse. Beyonce was in town on Saturday night, and I got stuck amongst the Beyonce fans as I was trying to get back out of town. There was suddenly a sea of people in sequined cowboy hats and glamorous outfits, and there was no way for me to get home. So yeah, that was my sort of going out on Saturday. Sunday was the usual radio nonsense on Black Diamond FM, playing music and talking nonsense in between for a bit. And yeah, that's sort of been about it this week. I've not done a lot of exciting stuff, though I am going to a Star Wars themed cocktail bar that's opened on Saturday. So I'm going to go along and try that, and some of the exotic weird liquids that they've been making that sort of pulsate and have smoke coming out of them and all that sort of nonsense. So sort of looking forward to that. In-game, I have not done a lot. I am still on my mission to unlock some of the engineers. I've not really bothered with a lot of engineering for my ships. I did a lot of stuff for like getting the frameshift drive and bits like that done, but I've not really done a ton of ship engineering, so I'm still going around doing unlocks. I've got to become friends with different mafia groups in order to unlock engineers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Marcus Quint, the stupid bin. I hated that guy. Is that where you're up to?
Yeah,
kind of stepping stone before Palin. Yeah,
I've got lots of different stepping stones where I'm having to make friends with different people in the bubble in order to then get introduced to the next person, who introduces me to the next person, who introduces me to the person that can actually do the stuff to my things that I want. I can't skip to the end. I've got to go all the way through, but I'll get there. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, you've got to power through. Yeah. Oh dear. As far as I'm concerned, well, it's been quite a hectic week. I have a bathroom update. It's almost done. Believe it or not, this has taken 3 weeks instead of 2. But yep, it's the good old Lave Radio tradition. Bathroom update. It's almost finished. Yay! We've still got this massive skip outside that I think they're refusing to take away now. But yeah, that was fun. I found out that my new offices have been moved to Salford Quays, and I cycled there today and cycled back, which was 8.5 miles each way. And I thought, oh, this is all right on the way there, and I found it very difficult on the way back. And I find out that it's a 400-foot difference in elevation between Salford Quays and Stockport. You're 400 foot higher in Stockport. And I was there wondering, why are my legs hurting so much as I'm cycling back up? In-game.
No, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? You want the coast home, really.
Yeah, you do want the coast home. The last thing I wanted was sort of, oh, what the heck's this? And it was such a it's a gentle incline over 8.5 miles, but it does add up until the very end. My legs were going, something's wrong.
Can you not get one of those things where it sort of charges up on the way down so that you can be like lazy or assisted on the way back?
Oh yeah.
Listen, I have weight to lose. Electric bikes do not lose weight.
But they might like help you a little bit. Like you might not end up a big sweaty mess and die of a heart attack. Just saying.
You just want like an 8-mile long bungee cord.
Yeah, that's the new way to get to work. Bungee. Yeah, in game, I've actually been having a lot of fun, especially with the new headset. I've been doing an awful lot of collecting of bits to make my clipper completely undetectable by Thargoid. So it's running at about 16% heat. And of course, I went in on Saturday to actually have a look at it for the first time in the new VR headset, and it was mesmerizing. And I died. Of course, I would.
We all die the first time.
Yes, yeah. But I died trying to leave, which was really, really bad. Because I was
exactly what happened to me. Exactly what happened to me.
Because I was getting out there, I was running out of caustic sinks. I thought, I'm going to get out. What I didn't see were the 2 caustic generators that I slammed into, and they exploded, and it took me out. So, yeah, there was much spinning and much exploding going on. But yeah, flying around the Titan is, it's phenomenal. I've put together a top shift for it, so that will be out later in the week. It's just editing out all the dead bits where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, that's been our week. Yeah, quite a lot of week actually. So let's have a look at tonight's activity in game. We actually have drops available for you all. So if you are in Twitch at the moment, you can get some drops. You can earn the Snake Wrap Desert Paint Job bundle for the Anaconda, the Mamba, the Asp Explorer, and the Cobra Mark III. Now, these paint jobs are extra special as they include a low light effect when out in deeper black. So, you watch us for 30 minutes for the Mamba Snake Wrap, and the partner program Cobra Mark III. Watch us for another 30 minutes more for the Anaconda, and then watch us for another final 30 minutes and you'll get the Asp Explorer. So yes, I've yet to actually get one of these, but they do look quite glow in the dark, don't they?
Tonight's your chance.
Yeah, they look cool.
That was a resounding yes from everybody at once.
I think they look kind of neat. I like the idea of having the sort of snake paint on them because of all the sort of snake themed ships that we've got.
Is this? We've had a snake before, haven't we?
There
Or is
are snakes. There's like very brightly coloured snakes that exist in the store to buy,
Okay.
but this colour scheme is the desert colour scheme isn't one of those schemes. Let me see if I can find them.
It's the same design though, but just different colours.
Yeah, same design. I think they're on different ships as well.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
I didn't know it glowed in the dark. That's really cool. I need to get one. I need to put it on and try it out. Actually, that's neat.
Excellent. Right. Well, let's move on to the development news. What's been happening this week? Well, actually, quite a bit, because Wednesday it was announced there'd be extended downtime in place of on Thursday, mostly because update 15.01 dropped. Now, this was mostly it fixes a couple of rebalances, but I did have a quick look through these fixes, and there was a couple of things that did stand out for me personally. One, it says that in alert systems, the authoruses and the Thargoid probes scenario, they're more prevalent now in alert systems. So there was a lot of complaint about we can't find authoruses anywhere. That seems to have changed because even on my way into looking at the Titan, I saw about 3 or 4 unidentified signal sources which would have fit the profile. So I was quite happy to see that. I'm going to have to go back and give them a try because I've still to bag an Authorus.
Is it still threat for non-human? Is that the ones
Yeah,
that
it's a
we
threat.
okay, cool.
It's a threat for non-human, but instead of the mercenary icon next to it, there's a little what looks like cargo icon.
Yeah.
So when you see those, that's when you know you're either in for a probe or an Authorus. I'm avoiding the innuendo there, thankfully. Also, the other major issue I must admit was that the scouts have calmed down. They needed to calm down.
Thank Christ.
Yes, they were a little bit overpowered, but they've been replaced, haven't they?
What do you mean?
Well, I wasn't expecting glaives to suddenly do hyperdictions.
No, they're a nightmare.
It is a nightmare. It really is. I was expecting it because I saw a Galnet article about them. So I was expecting it to happen, but it was it's really scary when it does.
Yeah, I got jumped by 2 of them at the same time.
Yeah. You're fucked.
I mean, basically, if you're going to the Maelstrom, so what I've done is I've camped. I found myself a base near a Maelstrom system, so it's like 20 light years from a Maelstrom system, where I can dock and repair and get ready to go out, and then it's a single jump to the Maelstrom system where I always get hyperdicted. And so every time I go to the Maelstrom, by the time I'm in the Maelstrom, I'm down to like 60% because of the glaive hyperdiction.
Yeah.
And then it's a bit of a nightmare.
You were lucky. I was on 19%, and that's before I even got to the Maelstrom.
It's also, I mean, I don't know. I'm in 2 minds about it, but it's like up until now, Elite Dangerous has been fairly opt-in for your danger.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But and I know sort of jumping into a Thargoid infested system is kind of opt-in, I suppose. But I also have a lot of sympathy for people that are just going from A to B, and a Thargoid infested system happens to be on the way, and the next thing you know, they're dead. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? Really?
I don't think it's been added to the route plotter yet, has it? The option to avoid a Thargoid system. You can't untick it and go apply filter to route, can you? On the
No, that might be an idea for some people who want to avoid it, but I do think, I must admit, I'm going to be a little bit hard arse on this when I say, listen, if you are going through a Thargoid system, buyer beware.
Fair enough. I see that side of it as well. It just is. It is pretty brutal. And Frontier normally, as in the past, has protected us from brutal things a little bit. And
Brave,
it's like,
innit?
no, if you go to these systems, you're dead, mate.
Yeah, especially, I do feel sorry for people who are doing basically rescue pod missions. Because if you're doing one of those rescue pod missions and you get hyperdicted in one of those, well, you kind of, well, depending on your ship. I mean, my Clipper can do 540 boosted, and these glaives were still passing me, overtaking me. So they must be doing between 600 and 700.
Yeah, I read 700 somewhere. I suppose the argument with those rescues, it's a bit like, well, if you're going to rescue someone from a burning building, you probably ought to have appropriate clothing on. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Get in
Yeah,
your.
but still.
I
I
must.
get it. I do get it though. I do think I agree that it's demonstrative of the Thargoid escalation.
Mm-hmm.
That it's dangerous now. It is just dangerous.
Well, yeah, we wanted it more dangerous.
Yeah.
Wow, and it's getting, and this is the first in the hunter class, so they're going like what's going to be the fucking Hydra equivalent of a glaive?
Basically,
And then the insta death, gibbed, insta gibbed.
Insta gibbed.
I'm well aware for years that we've been sort of saying, I wish anarchies were more dangerous. And now so I can't really complain. Now we genuinely have dangerous systems.
No, I mean it was bad enough. Oh, the maelstroms itself. I mean, I got jumped. Basically, just to go from the star to the maelstrom, I got jumped 4 times. just interdiction after interdiction, and they're going, oh, for goodness sake! Just they really don't want you there.
It's wild to me that anyone is checking any maelstrom other than Taranis. Honestly, in my opinion, there could be anything in the center of the other ones, but I ain't flying out to them.
Yeah. Because what is it? It's 300 light seconds to Terminaris, or whatever it is.
It's always hard to try and predict, or not predict, but sort of put an estimate on random, RNG behavior, because sometimes I will get runs where I don't get interdicted on the way there at all. Other times I'll get interdicted quite quickly, and when that happens, it's like, this is going to be a hard run. And like, if I get interdicted, I get interdicted a lot, and if I don't get interdicted, I'm probably going to get all the way there. That's it. It feels like sometimes you get a bad instance where you're going to get interdicted a lot. That's how it feels.
Yeah, the sort of Thargoids are picking on you in particular in that moment.
So, Psychic, someone asked a question in chat about getting interdicted or hyperdicted in an Apex.
Mm-hmm.
They go round the Thargoid
I don't even know whether if you have. I don't even know that they're like 100k across. Aren't they more than 100k across now? So you wouldn't even be able to go around. You'd have to sort of plot to a different space. Can't you only go like 100 not k, 100
light year?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But you can only do that in an Apex. So I think most of the maelstroms, even when they landed, were more than 100. They're like the Thargoid hotspots, shall we say, rather than a maelstrom, but they were more than 100 light years apart. So I don't even think you could jump through it.
Yeah. There has been one change to the existing Thargoid war, and that is for systems that are in the invasion state. If the commanders manage to win the invasion state, then as soon as they do, all the conflict zones disappear. So basically, you've won. You don't need to go fighting any more Thargoids. That's it. You've won. They're all shut down. They've all retreated. And you just wait for the Thursday click for it to change. So yes, the HUD has also received some minor changes for when commanders are present in a defeated invasion system, and a pre-warning will jump toward. A pre-warning comes up when you jump into that system, saying, "Okay, this one's going to turn into an occupied system next week." So yeah, that's that. I mean, it's nice that they're adding these little. The dotting the I's and crossing the T's with the states as far as this is concerned, because you could win an invasion state and then still rack up the kills. Let's be honest, they'd be completely useless kills, and you'd probably be better using your efforts elsewhere. But by the way, as far as the Thargoid war is concerned, are we still being limited, or are they still limiting things to about 40 alert systems a week, or has all that been changed?
I believe so.
I think it's very similar. I know that they've been that they've been blasting through them, there doesn't look to be a huge increase in what Thargoids control as of right now from the last time I looked at it, because it's still showing 1100 within the 1100s. So Thargoids are controlling 1186. So it feels like it's kind of plateauing a little bit, maybe. As someone who doesn't want to pay a huge amount of attention all of the time, because before it was going up by like 100 a week. We'd be looking at it and there'd be 100 and then 100. I feel like it's sat around 1100 for a little while now.
Yeah, I mean it's been like that for about 4 weeks, I think. So ever since everybody worked out that you stop alerts by doing the sampling, I hoped that they would reduce the sampling and then increase the number of Orthrus encounters. But I don't know what the state of play of that is at the moment. Yeah, I know what you mean, Psyche. It seems like everything is kind of plateaued at the moment, and we're kind of just waiting for the next big thing, which is whatever happens with the maelstroms, I guess. So
we get the messages from the AXI in my Discord, and I'm just looking at it, and it doesn't seem to be there don't seem to be as many these are really important, we need to make sure that we do all of them anymore. It feels a little bit more like we're sort of resting a little bit, or we're not resting, but we're keeping it even, maybe fighting back a little tiny bit as well. Yeah, something like that. It's not as like crazy. We're not losing at a rate of knots or anything.
Which I think that's a shame, actually. I must admit, I was actually enjoying it, seeing everybody panic, going, "We're losing like crazy."
Give it a minute, give it time. They'll ramp it up. Those sliders can change at any moment.
We could go back down.
Me and my big gob. That's not the only development stuff that we had from Frontier. It was I guess we should call it monthly now. The monthly Frameship Live happened. Episode 30. Arth and Sally were there presenting the usual shenanigans, but this time we had some dev guests, which was designer Curtis and senior audio designer Robin. Now we've had both of those guys on before, and they are always good for analysis of or explanations of how they got to the gameplay loops that they did, and also Robin just hearing what he has got to say about sound and how that sound is generated is you could listen to him for hours. Anybody have any highlights from that?
I did.
Go on.
For me, I really like music theory, and I really like all of that kind of stuff. It was really I love Robin. I think he's great. But the thing that was really interesting to me was how he would give a description of exactly what he wanted to the composers, and they would bring back something, and he would continue to make those suggestions and tweaks and stuff. And while the designers were doing it, they weren't getting the sound until quite late, and then seeing it all mesh together. I thought it was a really, really nice stream.
Yeah. One thing that was a highlight for me was the fact that they confirmed that there is an update 16 coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I know that about this time last year they hadn't announced anything, and people were getting quite antsy, and then they announced what was happening with what their plans were going to be for the next year. It's nice to hear that the update 16 is being worked on. Arf even said that there might even be a sneak peek of update 16 on the
and
next.
a potential release date as well.
Yeah,
I know.
Amazing.
I know. So I mean, at the moment they're working on a kind of 4-month release schedule. Well, it's actually, is it 4 months? No, 5 months at the moment.
We'd be looking at August, September, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Which is way sooner than I was sort of anticipating sneak something in December, but it's looking
I was
promising.
thinking maybe November, so the Thargoid War's been happening for about a year. so far.
For sure. For sure. It's and the other thing that there's I keep hearing, like, it's like a soundbite. I wish I could keep taking it from people or screenshotting it when I see it, that they've people talking about how difficult it was to design the Titan with the idea of like the future and what they were doing for the future. So it's got like a development plan for the Titan and for the Maelstrom and for all of that, but it needs to be engaging at each step. And I think that's really fascinating and a really interesting way to go about like thinking about it as well, from like a player perspective. So we get what we get, and then there's going to be extra bits. For example, there's something that's gonna come that we're gonna talk about in a second, when we talk about in-game events and those kind of things. For example, that's hinted at something which is definitely going to arrive with us well before the next update. So there's still going to be little bits in between as well, but there's like a very much a drip feed nature to it, that is designed to keep that engagement going, and I find that really fascinating and really interesting.
I'm glad they are, because one of the things that I've always been concerned about is, especially when I've seen it in other MMOs, you have the big drop, and people just blister through the content in a matter of hours, days, maybe in some cases hours, and they come back saying, right, that's that done. What else you got? And then we're going, you've just gone through 4 months work in 5 hours. You're going to have to wait for the next update. I like the fact that, they're drip feeding it, so that, we've got this awe-inspiring moment with the Titan, and then later on, obviously, we're going to have some extra interaction with the Titan, but we don't have to wait for the next update for that.
Yeah, they've sort of deliberately throttled our access to the content, so we can't just, scoff the lot in a week. We kind of
yes, because let's be honest, we would.
And they're sort of making us relax and enjoy it, and that's a great thing. The Titan is an incredible experience, and I think if there was an obvious end goal in there somewhere, I think people would rush it. Whereas as it is, like I say, I've sort of been gathering those materials, and that's, knowing that there was nothing else I needed to be doing was really nice, just to really take my time doing that and really savor it, and it's been great.
Yeah, I mean,
it also gives us like plenty of time to have buckyball races as well.
Well, that's true. That is very true. There was a great one thing I really liked on the live stream was a kind of explanation of what Arthur was hinting at when we had him on the show about the Titan not being identical to the ground sites. That it's a kind of different variant that's actually 3 times the size, roughly, of those crashed ships, which I can believe.
So is that? Yeah, go on, Clave.
I was going to say, does that make it the Hydra equivalent of the crashed ships on the planets? Are they the Cyclops equivalent? And is this the Hydra equivalent? And are we going to get 2 intermediate ones?
Aren't they quite old, those crash ships?
Yeah, those crash ships are almost 200 years old.
Yeah, right.
So this could be the Mark V.
The young ones, and they've not grown.
Yeah, we've only had it confirmed recently that those aren't actually bases; they are crash ships. And the funny thing about that is when you actually look at it, what are they measuring from? Because there's a massive amount of wreckage around that central chamber that you go into, and so is the Titan 3 times bigger than the entire wreckage?
So I think the surface, the bit that we see exposed on the ground, is the side of the Titan that is the opposite of where the big yellow gaping maw is. So both sides of the Titan have a kind of crown, if you like. And one of the crowns is huge and is full of yellow goop, and the other one is smaller. I think that is what we see on the ground site. And that kind of explains that side. If you've explored the Titan, that side is much rougher and more sort of mountainous. If you're looking for those materials that are the little tiny green dots, you really have to sort of explore that landscape. And I think that corresponds to sort of the whole thing that we see in the ground. I think an awful lot of it is underground. So those weird sort of like almost the outer wall of the ground site. I think that's all part of it. It's just that most of it is submerged.
Yeah, well, there's an awful lot of it which is rotted away. I mean, you can see what looks like carcass and you know, bone structure and things like that. It definitely looks like a living.
But if you go by the diameter, of that inner hole, so at the ground site, you can fly over it, and there is like an iris that I think people spent quite a lot of time trying to get through, but you can't. And actually, if you look up close, I can well believe that the one we're seeing in the Maelstrom is 3 times bigger than that.
It's easily 3 times bigger than that.
Yeah.
I can't get a crate into that iris.
Right.
I did it literally I was there today. Cannot get a crate into the iris that's on the thing. I think oh no, if it were to sort of open up and spread a little tiny bit, and it's got like a little irisy thing. I know it's got a little irisy thing in the middle. It could effectively do that thing, and I feel like maybe a scout could come out of it if it were an actual thing. I feel like maybe a scout could come out of that, but I definitely I would struggle getting a crate in there. I genuinely couldn't get a crate in there. I was literally there today. My crate is swallowed by the saddest of soups in the Maelstrom. There is absolute it's so big.
I like Jude's suggestion in chat, the alien raclette. For anyone that hasn't had raclette, it's that melted cheese thing.
It definitely is. It's the saddest of soups. That's all I can do now.
They have to dip into.
Oh, you mean fondue or something?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, raclette's like that melted cheese that you scrape bits off it. But
I'm not that cultured. That's a new thing for me.
I don't know if that's a cheese pun, but I really hope it was.
Dear. Anyway, yeah, I mean, overall, update 15.01, it went out very smoothly, no problems, and I think it fixed a lot of the issues that we had with 15.0. Alec, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I was immediately struck. I don't know if other people feel this, but often when a patch comes out, you know, I can sort of relate to a couple of the issues if I skim the whole patch, and maybe one of the issues that's somewhat annoying gets fixed. But I often find that the things that the community is really upset about sort of drag on a bit. And with this patch, it was just like, you know, item 1, boom, caustic sink launcher can now be engineered. The scouts are a bit hard. Item 2, boom, fixed it. We can't. Pacifists can't, you know, get their caustic generator loot. Boom, fixed. Item 4, people complaining about the fleet carriers. Boom, fixed. It was just like, it was a real good patch. Real hit those big ticket items.
Yeah. I think it's a case of everyone's there going, okay, you got those done. Can we have some more from the?
Would you mind terribly just fixing the system map and the galaxy map as well for me? That'd be really cracking. I'd really appreciate that. But everything that you're doing is great. You keep being amazing, sweetie.
Yeah. So 15.01, thumbs up from I think everybody.
Yeah, great.
100%.
Yeah. Right. I think we'll go on, quickly flip over to some community news. What has the community been up to? Well, for those of you who are following Commander Exorcist, he's back with episode 13, the latest out there episode. We'll put a link in the show notes. Has anybody been following Commander Exorcist?
He does some amazing stuff. It's a shame it's an anaconda, but it's some amazing stuff.
Yeah, anacondas. Okay, fair enough.
Yes, they're always they're great videos. I always try and watch them.
So recommended. Go and have a
Yes,
watch
very
of
much
Commander
so.
Exorcist. Now, Operation Warbucks, the Thargoid War, managed to hit its 12 grand goal. Now, this was a phenomenal effort by the community. Obviously, partly in tribute to Commander Plater, and yeah, it's. What was it? 48 hours of various commanders doing streaming to raise money for thyroid charities, cancer charities, and yeah, it's
incredible.
And yeah, it just goes to show that when this community works together, it does some fantastic work. Whether it's for, like I said, the thyroid war, cancer research, or your special effect, especially. Yeah, it really does make you quite humble when you see the effort that some of these people go into. I really ought to put myself forward to do a couple of hours at least for one of the streams, but
yeah, bravo to all concerned. Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, and we're back with the Burr Pit as well. They have come up with some fantastic footage of revenants patrolling the AX Power restoration sites. I must admit, I have yet to try this mission.
Me too. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
Everybody else raves about it, and I haven't tried it yet. Mostly because I've been too busy trying to get into the maelstrom. So yes, it's well, it's the Burrs, isn't it? So it's going to be good
Yeah, I mean,
cinematography.
I put this in there. I mean, the Burrs stuff is always great, and if you're not watching Witch Space News every Friday, then frankly you're missing out, and you should. But I particularly just wanted to put this one in there because it's slightly unusual for them. It's just there's no sort of talk over it. It's just footage of the ambience of one of these sites, and it's mesmerizing. It's some of the best footage of the revenants I've seen, and it's like I don't know how long it is, but it was a bit special, this one, I thought.
Excellent, yeah. We have also on the subject of the revenants, we have we have a Stealth Boy tutorial video, which is the definite guide to AX restoration in Elite Dangerous Odyssey. That is, it's a video telling you how to do it.
Yeah, it's me as well. I just threw this in there just a couple of hours ago. I actually haven't had a chance to watch it yet, so I'm going out on a bit of a limb recommending it. But Stealth Boy's videos are always great and does really nice tutorials. So I fully expect this one to be really informative too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there is one final. There is one final thing that the community has asked for help with, and that's actually from the CQC community, which needs people's help at the moment. Even if you don't play CQC, there is an ongoing fatal bug in CQC which is making things impossible to play. The issues across all platforms, live, legacy, seems to mainly affect 4.0 Odyssey. So if you have a second and you wish to help your fellow commanders who are still trying to play CQC Arena, please lend a hand and vote on the appropriate issue tracker to highlight it with Frontier. It's the issue number 55380. If you go onto the issue tracker and give that a vote, just to let Frontier know that people still want this fixed, because we know that the CQC has been waning a little. Oh, quite actually, it's been waning quite a lot lately. But yeah, so okay. I think we'll take a little break and then we'll come back with some of the.
Before we do, very
okay.
quickly. Sorry,
Okay, Sakia.
before we do, hey, folks, if you've got anything that you've got going on in the future, and you've got an event that you want us to highlight, get in touch. Either at me, at Alec, we're pretty good at picking stuff up on socials, or at the Lave Radio account on Twitter with any of your information, and we will come and include it in the show. We'd love to hear from you of anything that you've got planned.
Excellent. Right, we'll quickly take a couple of adverts and then we'll come back with the in-game events.
Oi, how you doing, my brother? So you run some data and you left your little sidey and you're starting to think about maybe a ship that can punch a little bit harder. Well, the Killback, the one with the little flappy wings, is just what the doctor ordered. It is multi-crew enabled and is the smallest ship with a fighter bay, so you can point and they will do your bidding. Ha! It's got 3 utility mounts, 2 small and 2 medium hard points, plus a whole batch of compartments. So if you want a bit of fun, grab a Killback, my son.
New from Azimuth Biotech, it's Tickle Me Thargoid. Tickle Me Thargoid is fun for all the family. Teach your little anti-Xeno commander the difference between an Orthrus and a Cyclops, a Basilisk and a Medusa.
Count the hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Cyclops.
All Tickle Me Thargoids spray realistic caustic clouds.
Not near the curtains. I love you, Tickle Me Thargoid.
Tickle Me Thargoid. Available now from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers.
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
And welcome back. Well, the in-game events, what has been happening this week on Galnet News? Well, on Thursday the 18th, they have confirmed that there is a new Thargoid hunter vessel.
Shit.
Yeah.
There is. There is. We've all been living under rocks. Maybe we should talk about it on the show.
Yes. So, yeah, they're obviously discussing the glaive and how basically it cuts you up left, right, and centre. I don't know. I'm still getting Krull vibes from it every time I see it, which is, it's always good. On Monday the 22nd, the presidential campaigns target federal voters. Now, this is for the federal election, which is supposed to be happening in August. Everybody's lining up. They've got the 2 main parties, and of course, a rich bloke who thinks he can buy the election. So, that's not mirroring real life in any way.
It's too close. I don't like it, and I'm not keen.
Yeah, it's funny how Hudson went a little bit more Trumpian the more things went on. Yeah, it was a couple of things happening there. That was for sure. Yes, and finally today, on Tuesday the 23rd, the head of Aegis has made a public address. This is to show the difference between Aegis and the previous incarnation, which is Inra. They have...
Nope, that's not true. You're wrong. The previous incarnation of Aegis is not Inra. The previous incarnation of Aegis was Aegis.
Saying we're better than the old Aegis.
Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. We're better than the old Aegis. And also here, have 3 audio logs directly to your inbox where I can tell you all about it.
Yeah, that was quite nice.
It's awesome.
I can try and play them if you'd like. I might be able to do it.
Okay.
It's a bit spoilery. It literally came out today, I think.
It depends.
Yeah,
Are we wanting to go full spoilers? Yeah, okay.
I mean, like literally, if you log in, it will be in your inbox. It's very cool. It's very cool.
I do like these.
There's 2 things of note from it. Without like being super spoily, that they're obviously working on another proby thing so that we can get those Titan samples that we're after, and also it's the first time that they called it the Titan, like officially anyway. Yes, it's the first time.
I thought they called it that in the news last week.
They definitely didn't. They called something Titanic, but they didn't call it. They didn't officially call it a Titan. The only reason that we've known that it's a Titan is because if you focus the turrets, it says Titan turret, and then all of the stuff in the commodities market is Thargoid Titan. This is the first like vocalization of it being referred to as a Thargoid Titan.
So basically, the Pilots Federation were ahead of Aegis.
Oh yes, we were.
Yeah,
By
the commodity
naming
market
things.
got there first.
Yes. Typical, the money market got there first. So that says it all, really, doesn't it? Right. Well, that leads us to that time of the week again.
Store alert!
In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Which one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Which one will you buy?
After all that, there's nothing new in the store this week. However, we are going to remind you about the Twitch drops. They've been doing Twitch drops on both the live stream and, of course, we've got these wonderful snake ones, which you can watch for any of the content creators, including ourselves. So pop over to Psychic if you haven't got enough of them, or Down to Earth Astronomy, and various others. We'll get. You'll get them eventually. However, there is one thing to say of note. Steam sale is happening right now until the 30th of May. And yeah, it's a good one because Elite Horizons at the moment is $4.99. But the good thing is Odyssey is £10.49, which is 65% off. I'm sorry, but that's good value for money.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people have been holding off Odyssey because obviously it's had the bad launch, but I think just over a tenner, you pay more for a ship kit, don't you?
Yeah, actually, you're not far off there.
So yeah, full Odyssey there for I mean, Elite Dangerous full thing, 16 quid.
So you could have Odyssey, or you could have two tiny plastic Lego figures that you could easily lose in your pocket.
See what you did there?
That's fantastic. Yes. Oh, you know what? When someone showed me the T9 Lego build, and he explained what Lego pieces needed to go into it, that Lego model costs more than I originally shelled out for Elite Dangerous Alpha. I know. I just wow. It's taking it to a brand new level. No. Yeah. So yes. Well, as there isn't much in the way of store alerts to discuss, I think we'll take yet another break. And we'll come back with some discussion about Update 15.
Dreams. Humanity's dreams. The hope to live among the stars. From early times, we've gazed up to the heavens and wondered if one day we could travel there. Maybe even live there. The Brewer Corporation has made this dream a reality, constructing intricate cathedrals of metal, circling numerous planets across thousands of systems in our human bubble. Why stay rooted in a gravity well when you can be free in orbit, free to dream, free to live, and one day to become a commander and be free to blaze your own trail. Brewer Corporation, the first step into the unknown. Come join us. Be free.
Protecting settlements from villainous scum, it's Settlement Patrolman. The action figure every child wants. Wearing the all-new Manticore Dominator suit with light-up jump assist thrusters. Press his backpack to hear Settlement Patrolman speak.
Not seen you around here before, Commander. Is that a Karma P15 in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? Hey, don't point that at me.
When alarms sound, Settlement Patrolman rides into action in his surface reconnaissance vehicle with pop-up turret and glow-in-the-dark wheel trims. Settlement Patrolman.
Surface reconnaissance vehicle and action figure sold separately. Available from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers. Microelectrode, ion battery, and circuit switch not included.
Space is vast, and pirates have needs just like anyone else. Introducing the Lonely Pirate Handbook, the ultimate resource for lonely pirates. Our guide covers the hot spots and not spots of interstellar space, from smugglers' dens to space station taverns, with helpful chapters such as how to be presentable in polite society, how to get rid of that nefarious rank, and my favorite, occasionally shower. Are your early advances often mistaken for attempts to rob or plunder?
Oh, I've come a long way for what's in your hold. Prepare to be boarded. Frameshift charge detected. Oh.
Buy today and receive the Lonely Pirates Chat-Up Guide for free.
I've got a very large hard point. Would you like to see my very large hard point?
You're so hot. You're making my temperature critical.
Lower your shields. I want to inspect the goods.
Come back to my place. I might let you touch my A-rated anaconda.
Are you smuggling illegal goods? Because you've got fine written all over you.
The Lonely Pirates Handbook. Now available in all Anarchy bookstores. We'll teach you to loot anyone's heart.
And welcome back after the cringe fest of the pirates.
I love it so much.
Oh dear. Right. I think if anybody is at one of the meetups, especially at ECM, I think people should get points for trying to use those lines on other people.
Gross. Absolutely not. I will punch you in the face.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, there you have you got your own punch card.
Nope.
Dear.
That's,
Right.
like, of all of your ideas, Colin, that might be one of the worst.
It'll be some sort of.
That is really got quite low.
I know,
then.
right?
Are we going to have like a bingo card where we're ticking them off as we go around? No.
No, absolutely not. No.
Oh, see, Chris is in for it, right?
You've got to use all 5 and collect a black eye from Psychic.
Happy to apply, just no problem.
Oh dear. Yes. Okay. And after the HR seminar that you had to attend to, the main, excuse me, the main discussion. Right. Update 15. Psyche, you have been clamping at the bit to go at this one. Let's have a bit of banter about update 15.
Sure, we can do. We can do. Has anybody found it? Like, we talked quite a lot. Obviously, we talked quite a lot about it last week. But I still think there's so much more that we can talk about with regard to the Titan. Has anybody like got any new experiences between now and then? I know Alec has been mad with dropping sensors and stuff in there. Has anyone found something out?
Well,
you say that as if there is something that you know.
No, there genuinely isn't. There genuinely isn't. I've just got like loads of different theories that I just keep throwing around.
It's not really a mystery. I mean, I think it's been widely mentioned now. But the thing I found was that using the abrasion blaster is a lot more effective than using the laser to chip those various bits where the material. I mean, it's basically a one-shot.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem that I've got with that is every single time I knock off. Well, basically, we're zit popping, aren't we?
Yes.
Really, we're basically popping these Thargoid zits off the ship, and the problem that I've got is that the so-called bit goes flying off, and then it just goes straight back onto the surface of the thing of the Titan, and I can't scoop it. I've tried
Yeah,
collector limpets,
you
and
lose a few limpets, don't you, as well, sometimes?
I haven't managed to limpet it or scoop it once. It just
Really?
no, it just pops off, and then it just seems to embed itself in other bits of the Titan, and I can't get close enough to scoop it up.
The ones that are really tricky are the ones inside. So the heat vents that open up occasionally. So there's sort of little blisters on the outside and the inside, and you definitely want to avoid the ones on the inside because they tend to get trapped in the sort of mouth that opens up. You know the
Oh, that
hatchway
happened to
opens up.
me. I
Yeah.
whacked. I got one of those damn things off, and then of course the heat vent opened, and I got a face full coming out, and I went flying off into the distance, and of course that raised my heat on my clipper too much. Yeah, too little big yin. That's not what I meant, and I was flipping about, and of course the heat went up through the roof, and of course every single Thargoid round we went, hello, there's a target I can shoot at. So definitely having to run away quite quickly, and then managed to discover that if I hit silent running and then hide behind an asteroid, they lose you. And I thought that was great because I thought I was as dead as a doornail at that point. But no, I just accidentally was sneaky, and
Yeah.
they couldn't find me, which is
In-
great.
in fact, I've discovered quite often what I find is that when I first approach the Titan is often when I get noticed. By a passing glaive or something. And basically, what I found is that if you not even necessarily start silent running, but if you're already running cold, like you were saying, 16%, I think I'm similar, 17, 18, and then if you're using your thermal vent beams to just run those across the surface of the Titan, your temperature drops to like 2%. And basically what I found is that on the way in, if somebody takes, if a glaive takes interest in me, just basically lose it around the other side of the Titan. So just, boost across the surface of the Titan, use the laser to keep cool, skim around the outside edge, and basically flip around to the opposite side. And you can lose them around the Titan itself pretty easily, actually.
Yeah, glaives, from my experience, glaives, even if you're under 20 or around 16 around that thing, glaives will see you. They're not very. This might be like some kind of Jurassic Park influence coming at me. I don't think they're very good at spotting you if you stay still for any number like a time. If I get like right up close to the Titan and I'm still, I just feel like the glaives lose interest. That might be just me projecting Jurassic Park at the Hunter class.
I feel like I've experienced that as well.
Maybe that might be confirmation bias as well, Alec. Don't quote me for it. I'm not giving that as an instruction at the moment, but I feel like that might be something to science. Definitely breaking visual from them. If you can break visual and keep the visual broken, then you have a really good chance at being able to get away.
Yeah, I must admit, it was one of those adrenaline pumping moments when you suddenly went, oh, I am in so much trouble right now, and the fact that when you flipped around that asteroid, that was a Han Solo moment for me. Yeah, it was in an asteroid belt. I was hiding for something big and nasty, and I thought, Han Solo would be so proud of me.
Oh, I did see something on YouTube, which I had to go at myself this morning with no success. But I saw somebody wait until a glaive went near a caustic generator, and then just explode the caustic generator, and it took out the glaive.
Oh my god, I love that so much.
So I did try that a couple of times this morning, but you've got to be pretty lucky to get a glaive to go near to those things. But it's quite funny.
That sounds like so much fun. That feels like something that needs to be scienced for sure.
Yeah, I would love to see that. There's irony for you.
What I would like to see, and I don't know if anyone has any experience of this, are there any deep core asteroids? Because how awesome would it be
Yes.
to blow one of those up with when a glave's near it?
Apparently there are. Well, people have found asteroids with definitely with tritium in it. But yeah, I would love to explore, basically mine the do a John Sheridan in Babylon 5, mine the asteroid belt with nukes and blow the thing up.
See, but then I want to attach those to the side of the Titan itself and have a kablooey on there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't move asteroids, can you? If you like shove them with your ship, you can't. No.
Oh my goodness, what happens if we have to do what we do to asteroids in order to explode one of these things?
You'd need to go in with a team for sure, because if you start doing that kind of thing and attaching sides to it, look, like this is entirely a theory and speculation, but if you have to do that, the amount of shit that they will send out in your general direction, you're gonna get glaives, you're gonna get hydras, you're gonna get medusas, you're gonna need a fucking team of skilled murderers to help you out with that for sure.
Yeah, that is going to be. Yeah, I mean, there's so many possibilities about, how are we going to take these things out? Because it was, I'm hoping that it'll involve something. Oh, this is going to sound so wrong, but something internal where we have to drop ourselves into the ship and there's a boarding party and something like that. That would be really nice.
Absolutely, we will need to insert ourselves for sure.
So I have a theory. It felt quite. It was. I felt like it was going to be quite a controversial thing to say, but actually maybe it's not so much as people start to experience it more. I don't think we're going to get inside the Titan. There's a lot of expectation that, of course, we are. We're going to go in through the side, or we're going to go in through the yellow thing, or we're going to find a way of it. I don't think we are.
Oh, why'd you get that?
Two reasons. It's mostly like a game design reason, but so that yellow maw, even though the Thargoid chips can pass through it, if you explore it with your ship, whether it's lit up yellow or whether it's dark, it's a solid wall. And up until now, Frontier have never revisited any kind of model in game and replaced a solid wall with something we can go through. The Thargoid bases always had an iris door that was quite clearly an iris door. We could see stuff inside it, and when you have the key, it spins open. But that's a wall, and similarly, the what are they called? The ports that the glaives come out through. If you try and go in those, the end of those tunnels, although the Thargoids can pass through them, that's a wall. I don't think there's anything inside that model. I think that's a 2D model, not 2D, but a 3D game model to be viewed from outside. I don't think there's anything in it to be seen.
Counterpoint. Very small counterpoint. We have had a wall that we haven't been able to go through. We haven't been able to see the wall, but we have had a wall before update 16 dropped. We couldn't get through the Thargoid pulse, but if you persevered, you couldn't get any closer. You were flying against a wall.
No, it's different. It wasn't literally a brick wall that you could bang the nose of your ship against.
No, it was. People were getting through there, and they couldn't move further forwards at all. It was just stopping them from
really?
from
It's
flying
not just
further
pushback.
forwards.
You're saying there was
There was
barrier.
something physically stopping you from going from hitting it.
Okay,
One
didn't know
person
that.
went through, but it was a speed thing, and it was a nonsense thing. Like it was a buggy thing. It wasn't an actual thing. But people were reporting that there was a wall that you actually couldn't speed up to.
The other thing, I don't necessarily want to say this, but what the hell, I will. On the charity live stream, Operation Warbucks, I didn't see this myself, but somebody else told me about it later on. I forget who it was, but somebody managed to clip the camera through the Titan. There ain't nothing inside it.
Doesn't
That's
mean
not
that there's never going to be anything
that's
inside
not
it.
to say that Frontier couldn't put stuff inside it, but they have never done that ever. You know, the models in the game are the models in the game.
But does that not mean that Frontier are evolving? They've learned our tricks and the silly things that we all do in order to discover what's coming next, because they know that we get excited and that we want to discover these things. And they're like, do you know what? The chance of someone clipping a camera through is really, really slim, and we've tested it really, really well. However, just in case, what we've done...
I do have...
That happened with the fleet carrier. That happened with they didn't want people to see the fleet carrier stuff, but someone did clip it through and went, oh, there's a whole lot of stuff in here, and it spoilt it. It did. I mean, it was good to know, because there was a lot of people were upset that you still couldn't do stuff on your fleet carrier, and then but I think it would have been nicer if they sort of said, ta-da, here it is, unless it's someone unless someone clipped it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, look,
hey,
I don't know, but I did just want to throw that out there, because there's such an expectation that we're going to get inside the Titan, and it just struck me today or yesterday. I suddenly thought, do you know what? I'm not sure we are. I'm really not sure we are. I'm not sure that's where it goes next.
What do you think then, Alec? Where do you think it is going next?
Well,
I know that's a really, really broad question.
No, it's really interesting. So I had two possibilities. So the scanner, I mean, in the short term, the hints of a new scanner suggests, I'm kind of picturing that we may well be able to scan the entire Titan in the same way we can a megaship, and maybe that will then reveal sub-targets, and we can get the high and medium grade Titan tissue samples. So, at this point, we've got a lot of materials. We've got 5 new materials, not quite sure what they're used for. I could just about imagine a possibility where you do, in some sense, pass through that yellow membrane in the way that the Thargoids do. But where you end up isn't inside the 3D model of the Titan. People have speculated that it's some kind of gateway.
Yeah.
I can just about see that working, that somehow you interface with it, and where you pop out is inside one of the permit locked systems or something. But actually, personally, I genuinely don't think we're going to get inside that model. So it's really interesting to speculate where next.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm personally think it all depends on what the Titan actually is. Is it a mothership / hive ship, or is it basically a portal ship? Which that's what the Maw is. Basically, it's a portal to, say, the Thargoid homeworld, or a Thargoid homeworld. Imagine going through that and all of a sudden, pop, you're surrounded by Medusas. It'd be that kind of moment that people wanted for the Genosis, but or the Gnosis, but it didn't happen. Personally, I'm hoping that you go through that, you end up with some on-foot content, but I think we will be going through it. Whether or not
Do you
it's
think
going
you're
to
going to be going into the ship or into a?
Yeah, I'm getting severe Pacific Rim vibes from this. I've got to be so careful with saying these things,
So
even with Ben not here.
So, like, with regard to the big irisy thing opening up, and you then going through that and being sent to another dimension, why then, in that case? And again, I totally appreciate all of your suggestions and all of that. If you're going to another dimension, or you're going to the witch space dimension or something like that, where they all live happily, why then do the glaives and the scouts come out of other holes? Why do they not all come out of the same hole? I don't want to throw spanners in. Well, I do want to throw spanners in works. That's literally what I'm trying to do. But why doesn't everything come out of the same hole? Why are there not separate launch? Why are there separate launch bays for the glaives in the smaller areas where you think that they might fit a little better?
Do glaives sometimes come out of the?
I literally have no idea.
I've only seen interceptors go, it's either Orthruses or Cyclops go in and out of the Maw. I've seen glaives being launched and scouts being launched from the various launch tubes, very in a kind of Battlestar Galactica biological way. It's the best way to describe it, really. You do get a lot of vibes about the sort of high technological hybrid feel that you had on Cylon base ships in Battlestar Galactica. It feels very gooey.
It does feel gooey. It's moist. The whole thing is moist.
Why did you have to use moist?
Because I did. You fucking know I did. Also, follow-up question: when Alec, you've taken a lot of pictures of the moistness.
Yeah.
When the Thargoids go into it, does it not splash?
Actually,
Yeah, I mean, there's an animation.
Does it splash? I thought it just sort of. It's
There's
like
a little
Homer
splash.
Simpson going into
I've got
the
pictures. Yeah, there's a splash.
Oh.
No,
Yeah, it's liquidy, and there's a liquidy sound. It's liquidy. There's a splash.
Would there be a splash if they weren't actually if they were passing through a portal as opposed to actually physically going in through some cleansing balm or I don't know, whatever
I
the hell
don't know
they
about
use
you,
in there.
Psychic, but I've never passed through a trans-dimensional portal.
No,
so
me
I
either.
can't speak with authority on that subject.
The Stargate looked watery, didn't it?
My point of
Stargate.
reference is Minecraft.
My point of reference is Stargate.
Yeah.
If you ever seen the Stargate animations, when they open the Stargate, it looks like water.
But they didn't splash when they went into it, though, did they?
They did. There was a kind of a gloopy sound when you walked
No,
through
yeah,
it.
yeah, but they didn't go into it quickly, and then there was a big splash when they came out the side. They weren't wet when they came out.
The splash was kind of when it established, wasn't it? When the wormhole established, it kind of blooped out, and then, but it wasn't wet. Yeah.
But there was wet sounds when you walked in and you walked out.
I do prefer the idea that it's a liquid membrane and that they are going inside the Titan and it's like some healing bath, or maybe it protects the ammonia atmosphere inside. Or I don't really like the trans-dimensional portal idea particularly.
I mean, maybe this is the Thargoid equivalent of the air barrier when you fly into the Coriolis.
How disappointed is the community going to be if we don't get inside it? And the way to finish this now is to do something like plant deep charges in it from outside, and fairly disappointed, I'm guessing.
Deep charge all the heat vents.
Yeah.
One of the things
if whatever we're going to do to defeat the Titans in some way is going to be external, and we've seen all there is to see of the Titan, how disappointing is that?
Well, it's not disappointing to actually see the Titan. I think
I think
we're hoping that there'll be a little bit more involving existing gameplay. You see what I mean?
With the confirmation of what the devs have said about we're planning for the future with it and all of that kind of thing, it would be for me. Yes, disappointing is such a weird word, because it's amazing and it's so friggin' cool. But do I want to forcibly explore its innards? Absolutely, I do.
I mean, I think like a cool way of doing it would be some sort of breach pod kind of thing where you breach the surface. And maybe doing that through some sort of frontline mechanism where our ships aren't equipped with it, but Aegis is able to provide ships that can, and then you can go and sign up in some sort of frontline version where you can go through it. I don't know.
That's Yuki. Do you want to penetrate the Titan?
That is 1,000% doing your part right there.
That's doing your part, and you can do it with friends. But yeah,
do you
want to penetrate a Thargoid with friends?
Absolutely, I do.
Hang on.
Oh dear.
But you could eventually do that kind of thing, and then it could involve capturing a Titan to do question mark with it. I don't know. If it is a portal or a station or a resource of some kind, then you could take it over. But you could only do
I'd
that by getting to the point where you've conquered it on foot enough times. I genuinely don't know. Because I don't know what you can do with it that you can't do with it now. Unless something gets unlocked, something gets opened, something gets discovered, and that's where all the sciencing and all that sort of stuff comes in. You know, Alec feeding it escape pods and stuff.
You know, that stuff's just for fun. None of that's going to work. I
feeding
shouldn't
it an
speak
escape pod yet?
authoritatively on it, but there's, you know, really, there's no point taking relics and everything and guardian keys, and none of that's going to work.
No, you've got to do it all at once. It's a multi-stage unlock where you just throw everything at it and then see what happens. Has someone thrown a Hutton mug at it yet? Surely that's waiting to be done.
I'm sure one of the truckers has tried. But the problem is that this community is that creative. If there was a way to get into it, they would have discovered it by now. Because that's what the sciencing has all been about. We've tried Thargoid hearts, we've tried Thargoid components, anything to try and get a response from the Titan. And no, not going to happen. So it's whatever we have to wait for, whatever the next stage is in the plot. I think, as far as that's concerned,
which will likely be the new. The scanner from Aegis, whatever they come up with. But I can see like a little bit of a cinematic in the future with audio from Albertestro going, look at these amazing things that we've got. You can join up today for this like frontline penetration thing that Chris was talking about. Is that's fascinating to me. I think that's a really cool idea.
I like that. Mark Gamer in the chat said, I want my alt commander to do an I'm back moment from Independence Day.
Hell yes.
There you go. That's one way for to penetrate it.
I've had an idea. This would be quite fun. And it would explain why there's an asteroid field and it's not just cosmetic.
Oh, okay.
Imagine if we haven't seen anything like this, but I could imagine them doing this. I can see how this would be achievable with the game engine. Imagine if you could somehow fire a weapon at some targetable part of the Titan, I suppose, whose payload, there was like a physical payload that attached to the Titan, I guess a bit like the mining drill or something. But its effect when it went off was to create some kind of massive gravity well that caused all the asteroids in the vicinity to fall in towards the Titan. Imagine that entire asteroid field collapsing in on the Titan and just literally blocking all its holes, and that would be awesome.
So basically, asteroids up the anus then.
What's that thing when you put stones in the exhaust pipe? When I say when people put stones in the exhaust pipe and it fluffs up a car, that kind of thing, right?
The old Eddie Murphy banana up a tailpipe thing.
Yeah, well, maybe that would trigger the Taurus thing.
Yeah.
It depends on if
what are we calling it? Do you mean the blue effect? What are we calling that blue effect? We need some names for these things.
The shape is a Taurus, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah.
It's
like the magnet. It's when you see an illustration of the Earth's magnetic field.
Yeah. I call it the blue pumpkin personally, but
I think I can trigger that voluntarily now because I've been trying to get good screenshots of it.
Oh,
how go on then?
How do you manage it?
Really, and I'm not in solo, but I'm the only one there when this happens. All I do, I mean, so my daily routine has been farm some materials until I'm out of limpets. At that point, I don't really care if I die because I don't have anything to take back with me, and actually, it's the quickest way of getting back to the station. But what I tend to do at that point is I think, right, I'm coming to the end of my gaming session. What I'd like to do is another shot at getting a photograph of that Taurus. So I will typically hang around the moor and just pick at passing Thargoids, preferably Glaves, but interceptors will do, with my laser until they notice me. And then just give them the runaround and just go round and round the Titan, basically running away and occasionally taking pot shots at Titans or Glaves on the way. And after a good 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes of doing that, the thing lets off its blue effect. Every single day I've done it.
So it's getting the aggro. You're doing
Getting the
you're doing
aggro,
damage.
and then
You're doing damage to the Titan as well. You're sort of just like randomly shooting the Titan as well.
well,
Just
that does nothing. I mean, we're doing that all the time to stay cool. I'm not convinced that does anything. But by aggroing the interceptors and Glaves, that sort of raises the aggro level of the Titan. I'm not sure you can aggro the Titan itself. I mean, you can shoot any part of it, and it doesn't really care. Is my experience. But shooting the intercepts and Glaves gets it angry, and then at some point it will start, firing its,
It will start throbbing, and
because it
then
goes
before you know it,
red,
it
doesn't
goes.
it? Yeah.
yeah, it starts glowing red, and then its turrets open fire. But you just keep orbiting round and round, cold orbiting round and round the Titan, and eventually it seems to be passage time. After about 6 to 7 minutes of trying to swat you, it just gets fed up and sets off its blue pulse.
What does that blue pulse do to you? Because
It
I
really
don't know.
screws with your modules if you're inside it.
Mm.
And what I've been trying and failing to do, and I've seen some incredible screenshots, and maybe it's been done with a team, but what I find is I'm always too close to the Titan when I start to see the indications that it's about to go off. And I can't get far enough away in time to get a good screenshot from outside, if you see what I mean. It's quite big, that effect. You need to really get a good distance away to get a good screenshot of it from outside.
You need like a second person with you to do the aggro so that you can get far
Yeah,
enough
I was
away
going to
to
try
do
and
the
do it with the
shots.
birds this weekend, but I was too busy. But yeah, somebody out. I mean, I'm willing to. If anyone's online when I'm online, by all means, because I reckon I can trigger it. We'll take it in turns. You park yourself 5 kilometers away and get a screenshot while I set it off, and then we'll swap.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. we want to see those photographs in action.
It is beautiful when it goes off as well.
Yeah.
It is really, really stunning.
I know that you cannot fault the art department or the sound department when it happens. I mean, I get a lot of Godzilla vibes of the 2014 film with the Mutos. I'm getting a lot of vibes from those things when I'm flying around the Titan. So yeah, I think I got a sneaking suspicion they've been watching a lot of kaiju movies in order to get this working.
Yeah, on the live stream, he did quote a lot of his sort of influences, didn't he? Was Dead Space one of them? And but yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, moving away from the Titan itself, I mean, obviously there's not just the Titan; there's the Glaves as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these things are they're fun to fight when you want to fight them. It's basically they're a bit of a pain when it comes to high predictions. However, has anybody spotted them in any of the CZs yet? They're actually in the CZs as well.
Yeah, they the advice is finish them off really, really quickly because they're Glaves and they're really nasty. If you see them, get them done, and I believe that's everywhere. It's not just on not on like planetaries are a lot easier. They're on planetaries as well. So it's I don't know about anybody else, but to me it's starting to feel a little bit like, those guardian weapons that Savlon was going, Salvation was saying, you need these because it's only going to be a good thing, all of that kind of stuff. Not so much anymore because there are so many things that can sort of take out your guardian stuff now, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, because I'm having to rely a lot on the enhanced AX weapons now. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I do miss the damage that some of the Guardian weapons can do, but I don't know. It's for me, it's more of a challenge now with the Glaive. I've yet to take one out because I've been too busy running away from them than actually wanting to fight them. But I just wanted to know, the CZs, has it changed, made the CZs more deadly?
I haven't done a CZ in ages. We've got plans to next week, I think. That I'm quite looking forward to, and getting a group together to do it next week, sort of at the latter part of the week. So I guess I'll report back in 2 weeks' time. But it's curious. Because I mean, like in a CZ, if they take out your weapons, especially if you're fighting around a station or around a planetary base, if they take out your weapons, you can literally just go and land and fix everything. So it's not the be all and end all like it is if they take out everything when they hyperdict you.
Yes. Yeah, that is an absolute. But mind you, if you're flying around a planet and they hit you with the lightning and your engines stop, well then, welcome to Stonesville as you plummet towards the ground.
But have you seen that ECMs are good against the missile that they have that takes out your frameshift drive?
No, is it? Oh, that makes a change.
Yes, it's been reported. Remember those ECMs that were really useless and nobody used anything? It was reported. I think there was footage in Burr's Discord of it working. I was advised of that. It's been tested a couple of times by a couple of different people, and ECMs now work on that the bit that takes out your frameshift drive. Whether that's intended, I hope it is, because it's a really good thing to learn.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that the ECM... You see, the thing was, in the original Elite, missiles were deadly. So an ECM was a lifesaver from time to time. In this game, it's not. So most people say, oh, here comes a missile. Oh, I'll just take the hit. Because they don't, So the ECM's practically useless against missiles anyway, because they're so weak. But it's good to see that they're repurposing old equipment, if you see what I mean.
I take it the point defense doesn't do anything to it.
I don't know. I don't think so. My understanding is that it's just ECM that works with it.
Yeah, point defense. I was hoping that point defense would help with the caustic missiles, but it never did. The only way that I found to stop caustic missiles was to actually target them with turrets and let the turrets take them out. That was a long time learning that one. Yeah, there was one thing that Arth said. We're going to leave this on this. This section, but one of the things that Arf said during the live stream was, you'll have to find it for yourself. Any idea what it is?
I don't think we found it. Do you? Do you think we found it? I don't think we found it.
I don't think we've found whatever it is. I think something not bigger, but there's more coming.
I feel like there's something else somewhere else. Maybe it's not a big deal.
It's Salvatron in a giant mech suit. We all know this.
Well, we did speculate that it's something Guardian, but yeah, I feel like it's something else.
Yeah,
we've had the like message come through from Aegis going, hey, we're better now. Look at everything we've done so far. We're going to get a counter from Salvatron. Yeah. They think they're better. Well, look here. I've got a giant mech suit now, and I'm a robot.
He's more machine now than man, twisted and evil.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what there would be left to find that we're going to be able to find ourselves. It'll be interesting because it will get to a point. If it's essential, it will get to a point where there'll be like a subtle hint of, hey, go and check over here in a sort of Galnet article or something. But
Pilots Federation alert! Yeah. You guys are just not looking in the right place.
Yeah. More M&Ms on live streams.
M&Ms that line up to be a star map for us to follow out.
Jesus Christ. Absolutely not. I will be so angry.
Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, I think we shall wrap up the main discussion there. And Alec, we have the Mostly Clueless section. You have something you'd like to share with the group.
Yeah. This is. I mean, some people probably know this already. Some people maybe not. But whenever typically when I'm taking settlement missions in particular, this is true for racing and other things as well. But I'd quite like to know before I go there which bits of a planet are in daylight and which are in nighttime.
All right.
And when you look at a planet in the system map, what you see is clearly wrong. I mean, I've experimented with that, and the very first few missions I took, I'd find a settlement that was quite clearly on the daylight side of the planet when I looked in the system map. I'd take the mission, I'd fly over there, and it would be pitch black, and it's like, okay, so this is just broken. And I always assumed that it was sort of randomly broken, and that what we saw in the system map was just a 3D representation of a planet and didn't have any bearing on the actual current day-night situation. But I read of some sort of research. I'd heard this speculated, but I heard of some research in the Burr Pit and elsewhere that people have done some real fairly rigorous testing, and it is exactly 180 degrees out.
Oh.
So basically, if you treat day as night and night as day, then if you look in the system map when you're about to take a mission or fly to a planet, if a settlement, for example, is showing as being in the shade, then you'll find it in daylight, and vice versa. And if it's on the borderline, then it'll be on the borderline. But it's basically pretty much.
That sounds to me as if someone swapped a minus and a plus.
Yeah, who knows?
Right click, invert colors.
But I mean, it's a shame, but it's also awesome because it means we can now. You can choose to take missions in the daylight if you want to.
That is awesome, actually. Just the fact that I've always thought it's just been random. I didn't make any connection to the system map on the planetary map to what the time of day would have been at all. But now that you say it's kind of inverse, at least I can plan things. Especially one of my favorite things has been an Odyssey settlements just as the sun rises or sets.
Yeah,
those have been phenomenal. Anyway, let us move back to questions. Well, we put out a question of the week earlier, and we're giving away prizes this time as well. So we've got some of the snake wrap ship paint jobs to give away. So the question we asked was, what's the best advertising or tagline you can give for a ship in Elite Dangerous? So I think we had one from Commander Homburger. The crate, not off.
I love that one. I think that's great.
Lovely dig at Arthur Tolmie's constant love of the crate.
Oh, dislike of the crate, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, we had loads of answers, and they're all brilliant.
Anaconda's free at Hutton Orbital.
It's not free at Hutton Orbital. It's 100
Don't know what you're
credits.
No, they're free, man. They're free. You get them all the time.
That was one of Katie Anna's.
Yeah.
I really like this one from Kim Angel, which was the Sidewinder. It's a start. I love that. It's so simple and it's so perfect. I might actually steal it.
I like this one from Corbin Red. Moray Starboat. It's neither a star or a boat.
Going old school.
Yeah. I do like this one about the Type 10 for when you want to force the planet to land on you.
Amazing. Thanks, Girl Scout 88 for that one. That's great.
Yeah.
And we were saying the Core Dynamics Federal Corvette. Why compensate with just one huge hard point when you can have two?
And there's, of course, Happy Moon Monkey, the beluga. Definitely not a giant flying penis.
I mean, everything points to the contrary on that.
Right.
I feel like we're compensating.
There are loads of I've just noticed another one. I love this one from Indigo, actually. Asp Scout, for the simple joy of flying, and literally nothing else.
There was another one for the Asp Scout, I think. Hang on.
There's a few, I think.
I quite liked Commander Exorcist with the Asp Explorer, the only X you should ever go back to. I thought it was quite nice.
Amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had loads. We had loads come in to the extent that we're going to put in the names of everyone who entered, do a little draw for them, and then the first ones that come out, we'll get in touch. I'll probably get in touch via Twitter because everyone was on Twitter because that's where they responded, and we'll send them some codes.
Yeah, there are quite a few about the Cobra Mark IV, though. That made me laugh. Alec, you had one, which was...
I did indeed. Nothing says exclusive like a Cobra Mark IV. Brackets. They don't need to know it's shit.
Mine was the Cobra Mark IV, the only ship that's pay to lose.
Yeah, I love the fact that we all had a go as well. I thought that was so cute.
Yeah, so... so thanks to everybody who's entered that. We'll come out with a new question later in the week for you.
It'll be Friday or Saturday. Keep an eye on Twitter. We'll do something.
Exactly.
Oh, it'll be Friday because I'm busy Saturday. I don't know if I mentioned.
Just slightly. So has anybody got any other business they'd like to bring up before we wrap up the show this evening?
Oh, I've got a message to Commander Rini from Wintermute. He would like to publicly say, is it done yet?
I guarantee you it isn't, and I guarantee you that Wintermute is a git.
This is kind of vague broadcasting.
I think it only makes, if you know, you know.
Fair enough. I'm obviously not in the know. So, right. Well, if that's the case, then I shall do the shout-outs. So our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday from 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander who likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC, and also have a look at that outstanding issue, give it a tick or a vote. We'll give shout outs to the couple of Elite Dangerous podcasts that are still broadcasting. So hi to the Guard Frequency who do other space games as well. And of course, hi to the cheese loving loose screws over there in America. Now, following this, we've got the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. And we'd like just to thank everybody who's chatted on the Twitch chat or on YouTube, just to say hi. And Chris, how many people have visited you while you've been doing stuff?
We've had a few folk popping up into the station. We've had Helmut Grockenberger, William Solo, Electro Ace, and Mr. Hugh J. Appendage Esquire, who has been visiting the station tonight.
That was very diplomatically done. So we've also got to say special thanks to Commander Tokuso, Jay and Trax, and of course Alan Stroud, who have all created music that we use in this show. But that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find all the contact links in the home/contact us menu item of laveradio.com's website. Do let us know if you've got any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So thanks to Commander Psychit.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you. Thank you to Commander Alec Turner.
Thanks, Colin. Bye all.
And special thanks goes to the Chris Mark IV for not only teching but also contributing.
You're welcome.
You're a legend. You're a legend.
Not that we've had to basically put a gun to his head and said, "You're on today." So until next time, Commanders, fly safe. But if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word.
Space can be lonely.
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Update, 23rd of May, 3309.
Hello, and welcome to the Aegis Public Broadcast. My name is Professor Alba Tesreau, and I'm truly grateful that you've chosen to share your time with me today.
In a broadcast sent to all pilots, the head of Aegis, Professor Alba Tesreau, says that a scanner for the Thargoid Titan motherships is coming soon. She thanks commanders for their hard work and sacrifice, and after summarising recent events, she looks to the future.
As you are no doubt aware, the Tri-Superpower Initiative Aegis has been officially reinstated. It has two primary objectives. Firstly, to increase our understanding of the Thargoid race. Secondly, to develop new technology for military and research purposes.
Tesreau acknowledges past mistakes and thanks the superpowers for their support, while glossing over the way they abandoned Aegis for Salvation and Azimuth in 3307 and 3308. But she says the new second incarnation of Aegis will avoid the mistakes of the past, and that it can react swiftly as the Thargoid threat evolves.
I have been given assurances that Aegis can act boldly in response to Thargoid threats. Research projects deemed a priority by Aegis staff can begin without waiting for superpower approval.
It will also avoid having its authority undermined by organisations such as Azimuth.
I have demanded vigilance against those who would undermine the Aegis project a second time. Overall, Aegis delivered many successes with help from Allied, Federal and Imperial experts.
Tesreau wants to work in partnership with commanders.
While these selfless individuals have vital roles to play, they should work alongside Aegis, rather than for it. Now is the time to prove once again that we can achieve more, together.
What has the newly re-established Aegis achieved? Quite a bit in a very short time, says Tesreau, and despite her desire to negotiate with the Thargoids, she is realistic about the chances of getting the Thargoids round the table.
Our first piece of new technology was delivered soon after Aegis's return. The Caustic Sync launcher is available to pilots, extending ship operation time in dangerous areas. Aegis's development teams expanded on a theory supplied by Petra Olmanov and worked quickly with our technicians to establish a successful prototype. More recently, brave pilots exploring Thargoid maelstroms have access to a pulse neutralizer. This device provides a method of entering maelstrom cores, each of which houses a Thargoid Titan. Now we have positively identified the capital ships directing the alien invasion fleets. Aegis can develop ways to disrupt them. It has always been my belief that Aegis is a science initiative first, and a military research program second. I admit to having a personal dream of true communication with the Thargoids, but the past few months suggest that the Thargoids are sadly uninterested in opening a dialogue with humanity. We owe the billions of civilians displaced from their homes a promise to secure their future.
What, then, can Aegis do to offer that protection, now that Thargoid Titans have been discovered? The first step is to gather information about these huge motherships.
Therefore, we are working closely to modify the Xeno scanner designed by Professor Palin. Aegis technicians are seeking ways to adapt this design to provide meaningful data on the Titan. I'm confident we'll announce further details soon.
The Thargoid tactics are evolving rapidly. Tesro mentions the Revenant drones that are occupying surface bases, together with Thargoid hyperdictions and the new Hunter Thargoids, which can keep up with the fastest ships. The nature of the Thargoid threat is changing. Tesro pledges to use Aegis science to anticipate what the Thargoids will do next.
The danger is evolving, and Aegis must focus on anticipating further developments before our forces are caught by surprise.
Tesro signs off with a thank you and with optimism.
Finally, to commanders of the Pilots Federation, on behalf of every single member of the Aegis family, I offer both gratitude and respect. Your commitment and skill in fighting to keep humanity safe from Thargoid aggression means so very much. I cannot overstate your importance in this conflict. Thank you, all. Aegis represents unity in the face of adversity. All three superpowers have pledged to that ideal, and it is together that we will win this conflict. I look forward with determination and hope.
Princess Aisling Duval has also issued a statement thanking Professor Tesro, who started her career working for the Achenar Research Council, for turning Aegis around, saying that it was Tesro's determination that led to Aisling changing her mind about Aegis and ultimately negotiating with the Emperor to become the Empire's representative within Aegis. And she echoed Tesro's thanks to those who have fallen, who have made the ultimate sacrifice. We have, she said, much work to do to protect those we care for.